Nerd Network family. Today we are discussing Power Book 3, Season 3, Raising Kanan, Episode 7. I'm your host, Hot Nerd D, and today we have the lovely Hot Nerd Lauren with us joining. So say hi, Lauren.
Hi, hello everyone.
Yes, so happy to have you here. But before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But yes, let's get to it, starting with this episode's recap. So this episode starts out with Pernessa, aka Pernessa, showing up to Rock's house with a gun, asking her what happened to Neek. She explained she wasn't behind what happened to him, but maybe, not so maybe, Ronnie may be the one that you want to put your attention to because he definitely had something to do with that. Famous is continuing to explore his music career. Some of his lyrics are reflecting how he feels about what he's done in the past, that Lou encourages him to keep expressing out loud. That includes him telling Kanan that he saw Rock put the gun in his bag a few episodes ago that got him uh, practically kicked out of school, or not even kicked out of school, but definitely got him in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
We even see later on in that episode that Lou takes his own advice and tries to confess to Rock first, where his mentality was with a lot of decisions that he had to make for her and then also for the business, like killing D Wiz. That also leads to him confessing his involvement with Scrappy's death to his mom, that we do see now we're going to have later implications for. Like Famous, Juke is also continuing her music career, working with the girl group. We even see Marvin try to step in and advocate for her to take the lead. We'll discuss that a little bit further in, but that was a good dad moment, I guess you could say, for him.
Yeah.
Uh, Ronnie Sai steals Unique's remaining possessions to pawn them off to try to make money so he can work with Juliana, which is another side too. Lou and Martin are still continuing their ventures in the bar with Shirley. Kanan is still running his courier business, as we see. Ronnie uses this as an invitation to work with him against Rock, which we do see Kanan is all for right now. And then at the end, we see Rock makes a decision to return back to the game, to go back to her previous business and what she's been doing, because that's what she feels is natural to her. Along with Marvin being brought back up on the FBI's radar now, with that past case from Tony. So as you can see, lots unfolded this episode. So I'll pause here and I want to get, what was your favorite part or what stood out to you?
Okay, so of course that they haven't found Neek's body, of course, but they pretty much concluded that he is dead. They confirmed that he is dead based on what the police have, the evidence that they found. So everyone's upset about his character being gone. But aside from that, what stood out to me the most is the fact that Famous is revealing a lot in these raps,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's gonna get them hemmed up eventually. It's gonna bite him in the ass, most definitely. Just when he was in the booth alone, and then the fact that Lou is encouraging this. I understand, they're fighting demons because they both have murdered people,
Hmm.
other cast members on the show. But
Yeah.
when you are in these types of like situations and stuff, you can't, like, once you make these type of decisions to go back and speak on it to other people, it's not going to be good for anybody. So I just, I'm eager to see, now that Lou has spilled the beans to Scrap's mom, or when he got the liquid courage, because all of this is also coming out. He's drinking to get to fight these demons and like
Hmm.
try to get away from what he knows he did. And even though he did it at the expense of his sister, like, calling the shots and stuff, ultimately she
Yeah.
did. I mean, he did do it, but it was, under what she was orchestrating, of course.
Right, right.
So, I just feel like it's just about to be a big mess.
Yes, it is.
Um,
And you bring up a good point there. Because I feel like when Lou was like trying to talk to her and explain that to her, like, yes, I know maybe pulled the trigger here or I was standing there and didn't stop you there, but like, why can't you take some sort of accountability for being an older, sibling, an older influence on me and how in a lot of those cases I felt manipulated or, like
mhm.
I felt like I didn't have a choice. And
Choice.
she's just like,
Mhm.
but still, you could have told me no. And it's like, imagine that. Like you're
I mean,
saying
I
that
wish.
now that it's over with, right? But it's like in that moment, could I have really told you no? And then, that would have been it.
Exactly.
No.
Right, exactly. And it's like I wish in that exchange. I mean, I'm proud of Lou for kind of standing up to her, but I wish he would have kind of like made Rock eat her words a little bit because it's like she's trying to kind of like make amends with him. And I
Yep.
do think it came from a genuine place because she doesn't ultimately want to beef with her brother, but she's still kind of carrying it like just like you said, like I didn't make you pull that trigger, but it's like he
Yeah.
didn't really have no other choice. You literally told him, nigga, I own you, nigga,
Yeah.
like, and those words haunt him. That's why he's so resentful and has so much animosity towards her now because he really did felt like he didn't have no choice. She never really gave him a choice. She never really cared or believed in what he wanted to do as far as music and stuff. And when she did, she only kind of used it as a scapegoat to fund what she's doing on the back end, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. She definitely has always, like, treated Lou like he was expendable, even, like, between him and Marvin, like, she still gives Marvin, I think, a little bit more respect in that regard, like, she really does, I think, just uses Lou, like, for whatever kind of
I
things
think
that she
because
needs.
Lou, not to cut you off in there, but I think it's
No,
because Lou. I think it's because Lou's character, he's a little more rebellious towards her, and
yeah,
Marvin just kind of be with whatever Rock doing. Like as far as
that
if they
no,
making
that's
money, Marvin. But I will say,
yeah,
I feel like everybody's been saying they love Marvin's character development from first season to now.
yes,
Like, even just him, like, trying to be a good dad for Juke and just be there and
yeah,
supportive and stuff. I like it. I love it. But we can see now, like, when he was at that park, somebody ID'd him. Now he's on the FBI's. They about to be watching him. So I'm just like, oh my god,
yeah.
like what's about to happen next? Like,
I know,
are they
I
gonna
know.
take like another fan favorite from us? Like they already took me.
Right,
It's by the end
right,
of the
right.
season. Who's going? Who
That's
is
that's what they building it up for, and it's like, don't do that. Like you just did that with Unique, like made us like him
like
again
him?
because of
Yeah, we
course, like
liked
the
him.
first couple seasons, it was like, okay, if the
He's
same
the
kind of like
rival.
demise happened to him now, like I don't think anybody would have really had that big of a reaction. But it's
No,
like saying, like now that we actually really did start to like him,
like
that's when
him.
you're gonna like take about like that. That's why I like that they keep alluding to we haven't found the body yet. I don't care how many times they confirm that he could be dead. I'm gonna keep hope alive. I hope Unique is still alive
I
somehow.
mean, I'm there with you there too. Like I really do because of the fact they have not came like show his body. I mean, even though last episode we saw his body roll down the hill and stuff, but they haven't actually found his deceased corpse yet. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like in the Power universe, they always sometimes they bring people, but like Kanan's character in Power came back out of a fire. Like so.
Right, right. So if he can come back from that,
I
Unique
mean,
can
they
come back
could
from
be
this.
just right, and they could be jerking our chains, like because, like, I know Joey Badass confirmed on his Instagram that Unique's character is dead because he's supposed to be going on tour. But I feel like it could ultimately still be like a throw off for the fans. It
Yeah.
could be, but
I hope
we'll see.
so. I'm
We'll
I'm
see.
keeping hope because it's like on episode 5 too. It's like you're gonna build us up to do it like halfway through the season. Like
And it's
that.
just like, and it's just like on top of that, it's just like I just don't understand why his brother Ronnie. It's just like he came home. It's like you never really heard that much about Ronnie, and then it was like he just came home this season, and it's like he literally just takes his brother out. He's only like his character was only in jail for like 3 or 4 years, like based on what they say in
Right.
the
Mhm.
series. So it's just like, why did he like do this? Even Pernessa, like when Rock was telling her like you need to kind of like watch out, like for him. I wish Rock would have actually said a little more, like to Pernessa, like when she ran
Mhm.
into Neek at the guy's funeral.
Yep. Yep.
I wish he would have kind of, because she was, Pernessa was totally in denial, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know
Right.
why she assumed, even if Ronnie was telling her that that his brother was sleeping with Rock, why did she jump to conclusions and think that Rock took him out versus the brother, knowing how weird he's been acting since he came home?
Literally, right.
He's been
He
acting like a
even has been scaring her,
weirdo.
to the point
Yes,
where she had to, like, even go to Neek and be like, "Yo, please get your brother. I already know he's been, scary from, from the beginning, but he's extra scary now." So it's
yes,
like,
he's super institutionalized. Like,
yes, yes. No, he's unraveled. He's very unhinged. And it's like now you just don't know like what he's willing to do because I think they were trying to allude that he did have some sort of boundary when it came to Neek at first. Like when he first talked to Juliana, he's like, "That's not an option. I'm not taking out my brother. We got to find another way." Even there's like another occurrence where he's like, "No, I'm not going to take out Neek. Like that's just not going to happen." And then now we see just if it's in the right moment or like you're feeling all different types of things. It's like
mm-hmm.
anything can happen from that. And it's like that's just a very, dangerous kind of character to want to be around, to want to try to do business with. Like I don't know
Yeah,
if Kanan really, like understands like who he's like
he's
really trying
dealing
to,
with.
I know you angry at your mom and it looks like, oh, everybody's against Rock over here, so let me go join them. But it's like he he just killed his own
Yeah,
brother. What makes you
right.
think he wouldn't do the same thing to you? Like,
And I feel like him like kind of like building this alliance with Ronnie is going to kind of create a division between amongst his family now,
yeah,
because you can already see Juke is not with that at all. She's like, she even kind of called Ronnie and she's like, "You throwing a party and your brother's missing?" And he's like, but Ronnie, I feel like Ronnie's character is just kind of being hot about it because it's like he's saying like he told the Spanish chick Juliana like basically my brother's gone, but then like when other people are inquiring, like when Juke brought it up, he kind of was like he's gone, he'll be back. You killed him. I mean, not that
right,
anybody knows that, but it's just like, sir,
right. But he is, like you said, like telling different stories, and so it's
stories.
like, and it's like you would trust Juliana, basically with the truth because he really did tell her, okay, he is gone, and it's like she is not your friend, okay? Like, yes, you just did her bidding in a way, like she wanted you gone for the longest time, anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so. That was just, like you were just doing her a favor then. And on top of that, she does hate Rock and she sees, how much you hate her too. So it's like you are
Mm-hmm.
just doing her bidding for her. Like
Yeah.
she is not your friend. She has showed us, throughout this show through anyways that
That she's not uh,
she'll turn when it's
somebody.
not favorable or like when you kind of get on her bad side to a degree. Like
Exactly.
even if it's against the actual common goal, it's just now, oh, I don't like you. So I'm just gonna, kind of stand in the way and kind of get in the way of things. And it's like
Yep. I do not trust her.
I don't trust
I
her
don't trust
either.
her.
It's like
Mm-mm.
I need Rock to fix, start putting on. I'm pretty sure she has all the pieces together, but what she doesn't know yet that is now her supply or that is his supplier now. So I
Hmm.
feel like
And her
once
and
she
her son
figures
is about to be in cahoots with him, so it's like she
Mhm.
really. I mean, she could. She. I don't know. I just feel like it's definitely about to be like some family division, and I'm still just like kind of curious. Like, okay, at what point are Tommy and Ghost character going to come about? Like,
Right. I keep thinking that like when are they gonna like transition to like later on or like more current as we know it from the original Power show. I wanna see it then.
I'm just really curious to see how this whole thing is about to transpire because what was this episode? What number? What's episode
Where
is
this
this?
is 7. This is 7.
This was 7. Okay, so we only got
Is it
what?
6 or 7? This is
I I really don't
no, no,
know.
this is 7. This is 7. This is 7.
So we have 3 episodes left. So it's just like, what is about to happen? I'm just like so curious. How are they going to end this season? And then it's just like, what is going to unfold for next season?
Right, right, right. Right. Oh my gosh, because we already touched on some of these things, but we like to discuss like some symbolism or like some themes that we see like throughout either the season or the episode. And specifically the theme that came up to me or was very pertinent in this episode particularly was the symbolism or like the theme of confession. So you kind of already touched on like famous talking a lot through his lyrics, but even famous talking to Kanan, and then also Lou talking to Scrappy's mom, and then I even think Rock even like confessing to herself like who she truly is, and like where she sees her true gifts are at. So what do you think like throughout this episode, like how important or whether like these confessions are going to be helpful or hurtful to those confessing from this episode? Where are
I
your
mean,
thoughts?
just to kind of like piggyback off what I said, just because of the type of industry that they're in, I feel like certain you can't really confess. You're not supposed to.
Mm,
So I feel like ultimately these confessions are gonna bite these two characters in the ass. Like Lou, I feel like him
mm.
going to Scrap's mom and saying that, and her character's already at the police station and stuff.
Right.
It's not gonna
That's
be
what
good for
they're
him. I
immediately.
feel like Rock or Marvin, somebody's gonna end up taking Lou's character out. I feel like Lou
Mm,
made this bad for himself. I,
mm,
because they're gonna look at him like, what are you doing? And I mean, again, I attribute it to the liquid courage. He's been drinking a lot. He would have
yeah,
never done that had he not been off the bottle.
yeah,
But then with Famous just spilled like he's saying he's spilling the beans through his rap, and I just feel like
yeah,
as soon as the police kind of get wind of him, like he's already been locked up for like little weed stuff,
mm,
but as soon as they kind of like catch wind, like if he gets caught up with like this whole like him selling drugs or something like that, or they're trying to pin stuff with murder, it's only a matter of time till they kind of like get wind of him being a rapper and listening to his lyrics and then just trying to trace the like put the pieces together. It's only a matter of time, and I feel like it may not come out in this season, but it will probably come out next season. But also, it's like now that Famous is like revealed to Kanan that he was there and he knew about his Rock putting the gun in his bag. It's just like I don't know what's going to transpire next.
yeah, yeah. I
But
agree. It's like I don't know if confession, like I think it always like starts out initially being helpful, like even how
yeah,
they framed it like in while they were in the studio, like okay, well this is just some expression, like you need to get
yeah,
this
they
out
couldn't.
so that it
Yeah,
can
they want to get it off their chest, and so they can like feel better. But it's like you're
mhm,
still ultimate. It's like I understand the
uh-huh,
intention is the intention behind it is with good reason, but ultimately it's gonna put you in a much worse predicament. Like it's like those are the type of like secrets that you kind of have to take to your grave because you're gonna end up either dead or in jail because you're confessing to literally some crime, some murders.
yeah,
So, and if it's only a matter of time till other people hear about you talking about it and they want to take you out, or the police find out about it and they lock you up for it. So I
mhm,
just either way, you do some dirt, you got to be quiet when
yeah,
you're involved in these type of
yeah.
situations.
And even like the narration in the episode like alluded to that, like there's always going to be like some sort of like period where he was describing it as like trying to course correct or trying to, like flip the narrative some other way, like, I know I was there, I know I could have stopped her, from shooting, but I didn't. It's like either way, like you said, like the truth or like what happened still happened. And so you confessing it ultimately will put you in a position where it's like, okay, now you really do, you possibly have to handle the consequences or whatever they may be. It may be that no one, does anything, or it may be like Scrap's mom, she's gonna go straight to the police and let them know. Or once again, like someone else is gonna find, like Juliana, she can go and, say the information to the wrong person who, doesn't suspect, need to, I don't know. So it's like you said, it's
It's
helpful,
opening a lot of doors.
but once again, like depending on really the context of what you're confessing at, it's like, you have to also just be able to handle, just like in a way, like how they were talking, like just like you did it, like you also have to be able to handle what comes from that. And
Hmm.
I know Lou is feeling it because he's like, okay, there are a lot of things I guess I could stand on, like I got to take accountability for that. But there's some things it's like I'm holding that for someone else, or like I'm holding that for
Hmm.
something I didn't even want to do. And
Hmm.
it's like, dang, on top of that, like on top of things I already have to really truly have to be accountable for, I have to also be kind of be accountable for other people's actions that
Hmm.
were facilitated through me. So, but it's like, yeah, it's a lot to carry, and it is heavy, and I think that
Yeah,
Lou is doing a
I'm
good
sure it's
job.
like
I
a
think,
heavy burden, but it's just like y'all are making things so much worse for yourselves in the grand. Like when you really think about it in the grand scheme of things, you're
mhm,
trying to get this burden off your chest because it's so heavy, and it's probably ultimately you're drowning in, you know, these horrible things that you've done. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Famous literally said he's waking up in, you know, with cold sweats in the middle of the night trying to catch his
right,
breath and stuff because it's tormenting him. But it's just like, that's, I feel like that's something you like, you gotta carry it like how Rock, she's very cold blooded. Like, that shit does
right.
not bother her. Excuse my friend, I don't know if we can cuss on here,
No.
but, but yeah, when you are involved in these types of matters, you got to be cold hearted because it's going to get you caught up if
Mhm.
if you start feeling bad about it. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, because it goes back to also just another huge theme that we talk about throughout the shows too. Is just like the survival aspect of it. It's like it may feel good, I guess, like in the moment, to get it off your chest, but this at the same time, now this is now a threat to your livelihood. Like,
Mhm.
and it's always kind of like you're always like in that pendulum in a way, like swinging back and forth, whether it's like you're putting someone else at risk or you are then putting yourself at risk. It's like, kind of one way or the other. But at the same time, it's like you said, like there's just so much that is at stake just for saying it. And so in a way, it's almost like every time you do want to have, these confessions, or you do want to, try to get something off your chest, it's almost like you do have to go through your entire like checklist of like what you're willing to risk. Are you willing to
Yeah,
risk
what?
your life? Are you willing to risk
Mhm.
your family? Are you willing to risk, everything I guess you built for, what you worked for? Are you willing to risk, everyone else friend? It's just so many
A lot of
different
factors that you have to
emotions.
consider.
Yeah. And it's like it's sad in a way because it's like you don't want to hold on to that because you can see like internally how it is eating them up, how it's even
Mhm.
coming out just in their day to day. Like, they can't even function properly, like as we see so clearly, I think, with Lou. So it's like, dang, it is like kind of one or the other. You either kind of have to adapt like a mentality like Rock to just like this is kind of just what it is and what it isn't. Like this is what I have to do. This is what I can do. Like I think she does in some sort of way like have. some sort of like healthy perspective on what it takes. Like at least, she's trying to acknowledge like, yeah, I maybe want to do something else with my life, or maybe tried, but anyway, this is one what I'm good at, and then two, it's like
Mhm.
I can carry, I guess, the weight of it, or I can, or
Mhm.
supposedly, like I also don't think we have seen truly yet, Rock hit her supposedly, like rock bottom. I think, of course, they're gearing that up towards like if something were to happen severely to Kanan, like that
But
would
see,
be it. I don't
but see,
know.
that's another aspect. Like I just based on like the original Power series and what we know about Kanan, they never really spoke on like aside from him having a cousin named Jukebox, you never really knew that much about his upbringing. But in the original Power series, it kind of seemed like his mom was already probably deceased or something. So I feel like in these, probably not in this season, but probably like in the next season or maybe the following one, like I feel like Rock's character, she's gonna eventually get taken out. I feel like
Mhm.
Marvin, he's eventually probably gonna get killed. I feel like Lou probably will eventually get killed, and these are also, I'm not gonna say underlying reasons, but reasons what is gonna just make Kanan's character like much more ruthless.
Yeah, much more sinister. I keep saying that, like, I think we're all like not waiting to see, but like curious to see like what also like for Kanan will it be like to see all this. So like you said, like if Lou were to take out Marvin and his mom, like, like
Hmm.
again, like we'll
I
start to
mean, she's
see
back in the
possibly.
game. She's
Yeah,
back in the game now. And you see that the Italian guy was basically like, I don't really like all this back and forth stuff. And I mean, I like how Marvin kind of like had her back and was like, like when you needed her to take one of your folks out, she did that with no hesitation.
exactly.
So you need to like kind of trust her word. But he's like basically like once you win, you're not going back out. So this is just like kind of like what kind of sets in stone for you to kind of know like her ultimately. I feel like her demise is going to be her probably getting killed.
Hmm.
I don't think she. I don't think her character is going to go to jail. I think Rock's character is going to end up getting killed. I don't think it's going to happen this season, and it
Yeah,
may not even happen next season. But I do think she's going to have some sort of like somebody's going to take her out.
that's interesting. What if it was like Ghost or Tommy, like when they grow up and it's like eventually one of them, that would be crazy. I don't
Well,
know.
like so in the original Power series, you remember Tasha and Ghost were the ones who set Kanan up to
Yeah,
go to jail,
yeah,
but Tommy was never in on it.
yeah.
Supposedly never knew about that. That was Tasha and Ghost character. So I mean, I could totally kind of see. I'm
Mm,
not gonna say Tommy's character, but maybe like Ghost and another character. Because remember, I just feel like in the beginning of Power, it was things that they kind of mentioned that they never really touched back on. So I hope in the Raising Canaan like series, they touch back on things that supposedly happened amongst Kanan, Tommy, and Ghost back
yeah,
in the day that they will bring up. Because
yeah.
like I remember in the very first couple of episodes of Power, Ghost character went to somebody like he went to somebody's house and he had to kill somebody from like his old neighborhood.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
they went to like an apartment and it was like an old bullet in the wall or something from something that happened. So it's
mm,
just like, are y'all gonna like touch on these type of these things that happen? So
right. Because
that's
it's
what I'm excited to see.
because I do think it's like little bits and pieces. Because even like in Force, like when they brought back Liliana, because that was like a older like situation there. So I do kind of see like bits and pieces coming up. Because now that you even brought that up, it's like it reminds me it's similar. Because wasn't he the one like who he didn't necessarily have to kill because he didn't do what they said, or like said happened, kind of like a scrap situation where it was
Hmm.
some sort of, I don't even want to say miscommunication, but there was something where it's like, I know that like came up like in Ghost Thoughts a lot, because I don't think he had to do it. I don't know, but I do remember.
Right. That was the guy. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think he later found out, like, and it was like in another episode that he Ghost went to his house thinking that the guy like had snitched or something, but the guy,
yes,
uh, he
yeah,
didn't or something. So it was like kind of basically like what you said, like the same thing like with Scrap. Like they thought he snitched, so they took him out, and then he
yeah.
really
And
he
then
really
later
did
on
it.
figured out that wasn't the case and have a lot of regret
Hmm.
with that. Yeah. Okay, yes. That oh wow. I That would be interesting, because that would be a good way to like tie in all the shows and
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
keep it going. Because I always keep talking about that, like, okay, like when are we gonna see some sort of like crossover? Because okay, we have seen, of course, Tommy in Power Book 2, with Tariq and them. But it would be cool to see like these other characters, like even Tommy, like showing up in this show, like Ghost showing up later on, and just seeing how they grew up, or just how really Kanan became Kanan. I think that will be like the
Yeah.
turning
Hmm.
point to really see,
I
because
mean,
I
I
think
think we're definitely seeing now like why Kanan is becoming as angry and ruthless
oh
as
yeah,
he is, but we're gonna see a lot more of like I think ultimately like I think I just my predictions. I feel like Marvin's character is probably going to go to jail for, especially for this. Um, if they can implicate him for this mafia murder from the
mhm,
person that saw him at the park, whatever they had brought up to
yeah,
Detective Howard.
yeah.
I think Blue character is probably going to get killed
Hmm.
because
Or
of
it
him.
would be sad if he like you know, drink himself to death or something like that, you
I
know?
feel like either that may happen. Either he's going to get killed, or he may drink himself to death, or get in a car, drunk driving or
Yeah,
something like
something like
that.
that. Mhm. Mhm.
I feel like the demise of like Kanan's family is going to be very tragic, and it's just going to be like him and Juke left, like, and then it's just like, yeah. And I feel like, also you can kind of tell like this girls group thing is probably going to get somewhere, but then it's probably not going to take off how it should have, because Juke's character in the Power series, she was a police officer, so you can see like now she's considering going to like the army or something. So I
Yep.
think her character is going to go into this girl group thing isn't going to work out how it's supposed to, or maybe like you kind of tell she liked that other girl that's in the group with her,
Yeah.
but Kanan like her too.
Yeah.
So
So, she go
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I keep saying that too, like, it's nice to see, Juke have, like, one good thing, like, happen to her with this
Happen
girl
to
group.
her.
Like you said, like, of course, as we know her to be in the original Power series, and like how they just been hinting at it too, like in the show, like she went to go get her physical for the military, and
Hmm.
having the guidance counselor and all those people, like, give her more information there, that it's clear like where her trajectory is going. But it's like, dang, I don't want to see the episode, yet, where it's like all her like dreams get crushed from this girl group, or music kind of thing, because of course we see that's her like real goal, her and Famous,
Hmm.
like that's ultimately like what they wanted to do. But I've just been dragged
And I
into
feel
so many different situations where it can't be as clean as they want it to be, essentially.
I feel like famous characters gonna get killed off too, because you never hear them mention fame. Like, I feel like maybe once or twice in the Power series, I feel like Kanan and Tommy and Ghost may have like mentioned like, oh, like they may have like kind of mentioned like, oh, remember XYZ with fame and blah blah blah, but they never really say anything else about him. So I feel like famous character probably gonna die or
Yeah,
something too, or
yeah,
go to jail maybe for the
yeah.
murder. I don't know. I don't
And
know.
that's
But
sad. I like Famous. I do. Like, he. of course, like when it does come to work, sometimes he ain't, always the best, person to
Yeah,
depend on there. But it's like you could
I
tell,
don't think Famous should have.
Famous
I feel
is
like Famous, he shouldn't have waited. If he was gonna snitch, well, not snitch. I don't want to say snitch, but if he was gonna tell Kanan about Rock putting a gun in his bag, he should have did it immediately. He should have never waited, because now
yeah,
that he waited and saying something, it's like Kanan already got in trouble with it.
yeah,
He could have easily like taken the money from Rock, let the gun sit in there, like let her put it in there, and then when Kanan came home, he could have been like, "Bruh, she put a gun in your bag," like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she tried to pay me to not say anything about it. But him letting him like get in trouble, and then saying something after the fact, it's like you might as well just took that shit to the grave, because now he's gonna beef with you. He's mad.
yeah. That is true. It was like I guess you knew what was going to happen regardless. So I think it would have been better for you to say that immediately then. He
Immediately,
also just
yeah,
made that point too, though, because like Kanan, he's starting to like trying to repeat himself in terms of saying like I'm scary too, like you need to be worried about me too. But it's like now I think they're
and
just trying
that.
to make that point that Rock has already established herself as a very dangerous opponent. And so
Mhm.
I just think once again it's almost just that another layer, because I don't want Kanan to take out Famous, but I think it could be that gearing towards that too. And so
I feel like that
that could
might
also
happen.
be
I
a
mean,
catalyst
especially
as
with
well.
him. I don't even like how Kane has been treating Famous, honestly. So I definitely
Right.
kind of could. I definitely feel like Ronnie might be the one to put him up to doing that, because I can feel like Ronnie can smell that Famous is not built for this at all. Like, I feel like didn't we vaguely see something in one of these episodes where he was like, he said something, or was it
It's the
previous
preview for this
for
upcoming
next
one.
episode?
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like Ronnie's gonna be like, you need to take that nigga out. Like yeah, especially if Kanan tells him that he knows that. I mean, he knew that his mom put the gun in his bag or something like that. He's gonna be like, that nigga can't be trusted. You need to take him out.
Yeah. Yep, he does. He definitely said, because he also said too, and you like to run your mouth too, to
Yeah.
Famous, like in that episode. So and if basically if it's not Kanan, then if Ronnie has the idea to do it, he will. Like he
He
will
will do it,
definitely
yeah.
complete that
If he,
mission with
I
no
feel like if
problem.
anybody is moving too slow for Ronnie, Ronnie's gonna
Yeah,
take matters into his own hands.
it has no problem. He'll be outside your door by the morning if you don't do it, by the end of the day, like you said you would. So yes,
But
it
see, I
that
feel
is
like
something that
somebody's going to take Ronnie out too. I just feel like it's just a lot going on.
he
It's a lot.
has to, or it's just like it has to be that way, or else it's like I don't know. Maybe he is who like Ghost, Kanan, and Tommy all learn from, start to learn under. But it's like, why couldn't that be unique? Why did it have to be Ronnie? We don't
Mm-hmm.
want to see Ronnie
Yes,
anymore.
his old square ass.
Yeah.
His character's so strange to me. Like
Yes. Yes. It's oh my gosh, because we already touched on this a bit too, but just in terms of like the idea of setbacks and like with the different characters, do you think like the setbacks that we saw in this episode can really be set ups for something better, or do you think that we're starting to see like some of these major characters entering into their demise in a way? Like, do you think
I
that this
think
in somehow some way can work out or be beneficial for someone? Because the only person I think that comes to mind like in that regard, like maybe this is a potential setup for something like greater, maybe is Rock. I know like she's saying like this is who she is and what she's good at, and so you know of course, I guess kind of going back to her nature can only set her up to like, kind of succeed and prosper in those eyes. But like, do you see anybody else actually having a good setup from their setbacks from this episode, or what do you think there?
I feel like the only one who, aside from Lou spilling the beans when he was off the bottle to Scrap's mom, I feel like the club thing could be like a good business for him, but I feel like ultimately it's gonna get fucked up because of now him implicating himself and going to Scrap's mom. Like,
Mm,
yeah, I feel like this is just gonna be a bad. It's gonna be somebody's demise.
yeah.
Uh,
I do want to touch on that. That's so sad in a way, because you saw like in the beginning of the episode, when Shirley was she was talking to Marvin about Juke, and how he was a little bit sad. She gave him water. She gave Lou like a glass of water instead, and like it was starting to just look up, for Lou. Like he
hmm
got this business, it's gonna be clean. It don't gotta have to do nothing with Rock. Like this was in a way his set up, for great things I guess to come for him. But it's just like that setback of one of
Yeah.
famous, in a way, almost giving him that encouragement to, maybe it is good to start to get some of these things off your chest. And then,
hmm
I guess that like
When
triggering
Rock came
moment,
over,
right? When he was talking to Rock, it's like, okay, even when
it
I
pushed him
tried
right
to
back to drinking.
yeah, when I tried to, elevate or try to, come out of this, it's like always I'm just constantly reminded, one way or the other,
hmm
whether it's in, the studio with Famous or you Rock showing up literally unannounced. Like it's just the
hmm
constant reminders, like, dang, like I can't escape from, some of the
hmm
things that I've done. And that is sad, like, and I mean, of course, in some degree even warranted. Like, these aren't necessarily things that should, just go under the rug. Like you have killed people, like you have done, in a way some pretty heinous things. And so
That's things,
it's
yep.
just, yeah, it's
I
just,
think
in a way
Marvin's
sad all
character.
around.
How do you feel about that? The guy from Marvin's group that he's like befriended. Like I had a good feeling about him last episode, but now I'm kind of like leery about him because
Yeah. And
I
I
just
don't
don't know.
like, right, I thought I was, like you said, I thought I was gonna like that he, what does he do? Like writes up article or stuff like that. He was, maybe gonna put Juke on or something like that, and that could have
hmm
gotten her good exposure. But I'm also starting to see, like you said, from this episode, like he might be turning a different page with that, and might be using that to,
Yeah.
expose Marvin, or to expose the
hmm
things that he's, honestly starting to hear just sitting around him. Like you
hmm
said, like that man just showing up like, oh wait, I know you. He's like, wait, no you don't. Or so I feel like it's just gonna continue being those sorts of situations where it's like, oh, I'm starting to pick up, and he, he seems a little bit nosy, so he's gonna probably try to start putting a lot of pieces together, and then using that
Yep.
format what he once, was gonna use for Juke, or like what Marvin thought maybe could be beneficial to him is, might, like we've been talking about, might just end up being a part of his own demise of being,
Yep.
exposed for everything. So dang, I did not think about that. I didn't think about,
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, I don't know why I did like it, but I was like, I'm not getting a good feeling after this episode,
Yeah.
or
It's just like
specifically when we saw that man like talk to him. He looked a little bit too
yeah.
like peery.
It was his body
Yeah.
language. It was like I can just see something going wrong with like he's gonna start to kind of like try to figure stuff out, and I feel like he may potentially like try to expose something.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Yeah.
But Marvin's a killer too. So I mean, it's like
Oh, absolutely. He's like,
yeah,
listen,
you
I've
don't
been
know who
doing
you
my
messing
deep
with.
breathing exercises. I've been, doing good, but like, I just had to become the mailman. Like that
Right,
could
real quick
happen,
and take you out.
immediately, tomorrow. So yes, and that's also, I guess, one thing too that he doesn't know. Like,
The
he's
real side of
underestimating
Marvin.
Marvin right
hmm
now to a degree, because he's like, yeah, once you start poking around and understanding the types of things I've done, I don't think you want me, on your back.
Exactly. And that's why he needs to mind his business. But we'll see.
He
We'll see
does.
what happens.
He does. Or, once again, it's like you gotta live with those consequences. You're gonna have very dangerous people as your enemies. And how long do they
Mm-hmm.
really last? Not long, not long enough to tell the tale the way that they think that they're going to. Because it reminds me of Detective Burke, who
Yeah, her.
where
That was literally what I was thinking about. Like, she was going too high. Like, she probably, her character maybe would still be alive if she wasn't so fixated on
yeah,
trying to figure out and expose what was going on. And I'm really kind of like, why did she even agree to meet up with Howard's
yeah,
character?
by herself, like,
So, and not tell
and then
nobody.
to tell him basically, I'm about to tell on you. He's like, do you think I can then let you out of this car? It's like, why would
Exactly.
you go and say that? It's like, at least try to formulate it so you're getting at least what you need, so you could, I guess, do whatever you got to do. But telling him, hey, actually, when you leave this car, I'm gonna go straight to
Go
whoever.
straight to the
It's like, well,
And the
then now
thing
you're
is,
just
you
telling
go
me you can't leave this car. That's
this
all.
car exactly, because now you're not going anywhere. Now you're not going to leave.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This episode, I think, yes, we're now just in those crosshairs of like, okay, now we just have a lot of moving pieces, and now we just got to see, in a way, like where they land and like what is going to go on from there. You've said already great predictions, which I definitely agree on, but do you have any others that came to mind? Throughout this that you think either are going to happen next episode specifically, or um even in this season, for the rest of the season?
I think something may transpire between Juke and the girl from her group. What's her name? Aisha.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
I
so.
think I think something's gonna. I think they're gonna kiss or something. Like, I think the girl does like Kanan, but I think she's gonna realize that she probably likes Juke too.
Oh yeah, you could definitely see the more natural, I think, chemistry with her and Juke
Yeah.
and Kanan.
Um, what else do I think is gonna happen? I think definitely it's gonna be like some sort of rift between Rock and the Italians at some point.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be between Rock and the Italians or if it's gonna be between Rock and Juliana, because now Ronnie and Kanan are
Yes.
working with her.
Yeah.
But
And
that might cause a
she's
conflict
gonna
of
get her
interest.
revenge for Neat. She's gonna get her revenge.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
I think if they do come up with a body for Neat, I mean, I think she kind of already knows that he's dead, but once she realizes that Kanan is working with Ronnie, I think that's when she's really going to take Ronnie out.
Oh, then Rock is gonna possibly take out Ronnie, because she's gonna find out Kanan was working with Ronnie.
Yes, okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I think once she gets wind that Ronnie and Kanan are in cahoots, she's going to probably be like, "Oh yeah, I got he done already probably killed his brother, and he's working
Yep.
with my son. I'm taking him out." She probably will get
Yep.
Marvin to take him out.
Yeah. Or she's like, actually, this
Or
one's
she might
personal.
do it
I
herself.
think I
Yeah, she
might have
might
to
do
do
it.
it myself. Yeah.
She might do it herself.
Oh my gosh. No, I agree. I definitely, and I don't want to see the continuation of Lou's demise, but I feel like after Scrap's bomb going to the police, like that was almost like a foreshadow of like, a scene, not the end of Lou, but like, close to the end for him, which is sad.
You know,
I also do love Marvin's development, his growth. It's just also, once again, we did see, there's something coming down the line. I wonder if, kind of like last season, like if he'll be able to kind of escape it. Because remember, like that shootout for the
hmm
season finale of last season, it's like, ooh, will Marvin be able to kind of, skate by and do it again? Or, will this be the time that it actually, you know, doesn't work out so well for him? So I
Right, and that's
don't
what I
want to go
think.
there, but that's in a way, like, I feel like what this season is gearing us up towards. So, but we have a lot to see and be excited for the rest of this season. But that is a wrap for this week's recap. Thank you again for joining us today, Lauren. Like, that was great. It was such a pleasure to have you. So, and also
Thank you guys for
don't be
having
shy.
me.
Come back. And hang out with us again. And yes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to continue the conversation and stay updated with all things Hop Nerd Network. And remember to stay tuned for next week's recap of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Can't wait to see where the story takes us. But until then, stay nerdy. Yay!